Welcome back, everybody, to Fire Your MD Now Radio. We are live. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, coming at you live from central Alberta in the little old prairie town of Camrose. Call-in line is 1-844-5433. Once again, 844-5433. So, it's been a really interesting week, I gotta tell you. We had a meeting last night, and we packed the old Smith Clinic waiting room here in Camrose. There was about, 30, 40 people, something like that. And I started out with meetings at a little coffee shop at a place called Fiona's. And more people started coming, and we had to move to a separate location. Well, now that location is getting full. So we talk about the mission of Youngevity to help us get our community and our countrymen's health back without drugs and surgery. People are always asking, how do you do it? How do you get the message out? People are slow to hear. They have a rough time with new information. They have a hard time believing that Dr. My Good Buddy from way back would ever steer me wrong. Well, the fact is, a lot of times they just don't know. You know, fair enough. They're good at what they're trained in, like the Nazis. Here's the deal. People are looking for real information, and they're looking for a way out. People want a way out. Chronic disease and pain is a prison. And if you know somebody, and chances are you do, let us know. And here's the other thing. I'm meeting a whole lot of people that have gotten their health back in huge ways. Every single day. You want a friend for life? Help them fix their chronic arthritis. Help them fix their wife's health. You know what I mean? Help them get on top of a really nasty infection. Right? We don't cure anything. We don't treat anything. We just give you the right information to take the ball in your own hands and play the game. Now, people ask me, how do you get people out to meetings? The answer is simple. Get on the field and do something. Get out and do something. Talk to people. I had no idea that it was going to grow when I just went and talked to the owner of that coffee shop. You know, you listen to a lot of doom and gloom. There's the VA scandal. There's Benghazi. There's scandals in the Canadian government and in the UK. And you know, people talk about it. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You got some kind of positive contributing role? Or are you just going to cry and whine? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I got my health and my mind back. And I'm helping my community and my countrymen do the same thing. Now, a little while back, we had Mike Rivero on the radio show talking about SSRIs. And this is really interesting. I found this article in Global News Edmonton, and it's actually out of Winnipeg. Edmonton's reporting it, though. Manitoba judge says there's strong evidence the smoking cessation drug Champix was behind an assault by a Canadian soldier. Canadian Forces member Malcolm Gallant, 30, pleaded guilty earlier this year to assault and careless use of a firearm. The charges stem from 2011 when he choked his girlfriend and took guns to their neighbor's house. During Gallant's sentencing hearing this week, Justice Sean Greenberg said this behavior was extremely out of character. She also referred to studies showing Champix is associated with aggression and violence toward others, as well as letters of support from his girlfriend and colleagues. So this guy was not known to do this sort of thing. But he probably went to his doctor and mentioned that he smoked, or the doctor smelled it on him and said, hey, why don't you try this? And if he hadn't seen the commercial or done any research and trusted Dr. My Good Buddy for a long time, this probably wouldn't have happened. So Judge Greenberg gave Gallant a conditional discharge, which means if he obeys the rules of his release for 1 year, he won't have a criminal record. Okay, so you got that, right? Now we go over to the Toronto Star, and wouldn't you know it, Health Canada tight-lipped on Champix suicides. I'd rather smoke a pack a day than take this stuff. And this is coming from Health Canada, the same people that got to keep you safe from vitamin supplements and other dangerous, awful things that have never harmed or killed anybody since Confederation. A Star investigation has found smoking cessation drug Champix is among the leading suspected causes of reported suicides linked to prescription drugs. And Health Canada won't say whether it has investigated cases like 22-year-old Heidi's Pfizer Canada. The drugs manufacturer says its benefits outweigh the risk. That's just the headline. Let's get into this, shall we? Heidi Clow was on a health kick. 22-year-old Canadian Navy steward worked out religiously during her foreign deployment with a tactical team that boarded vessels and searched for contraband. She watched what she ate and studied the labels of any medications she or friends were taking. When a doctor told her she shouldn't be smoking while on birth control, she decided to try to quit. She was prescribed Champix, popular smoking cessation drug, in June 2009. Have you noticed they use the word cessation a lot? Weeks later, when she returned home to Victoria, BC, Heidi's mother noticed her daughter's trademark smile had disfigured itself into a scowl. She was irritable and short-tempered. The night Pat Clow last saw her daughter alive, she was smiling again and off to a friend's house for a Saturday night of poker and drinking. The date was October 3rd, 2009. Sounds like a good night to me. Later that evening, alone in her apartment, Heidi ground up aspirin and sinus medication in a magic bullet, mixed them into a protein shake, and killed herself. Well, here's the deal. She was on the Champix to begin with, right? And she also was on aspirin and sinus medication. And I've actually known people that took sinus medication and had a few drinks, and you know, they wound up, they had no clue where they were. So she mixed up this protein shake of aspirin and sinus medication and killed herself. Now, this is the interesting part. A pharmacist notified Health Canada about Heidi Clow's suicide through an adverse reaction report, a tool the federal regulator says it uses to monitor the safety of drugs once they're on the market. For suspected cause, the pharmacist wrote Champix. No mention of the alcohol and sinus medication on top of it. Heidi wasn't the first. The Star investigation has found 24 Canadians taking Champix to quit smoking have killed themselves since it hit the market here in 2007, putting it among the leading suspected causes of reported suicides linked to prescription drugs. And you can just bet that that's a low-ball figure because they were actively hiding it. Now listen to this. The True Watchdog says it actively monitors side effect reports, but the Star found no indication Health Canada has investigated individual cases of psychiatric side effects since it looked into 14 cases of aggression, depression, and suicidal thoughts from 2007. So there's probably been a lot of people out there that went all squirrely on this and just barely made it through, and those weren't reported. Data analysis by the Star found the number of reported cases of people having suicidal thoughts while taking Champix, about 235, is nearly 3 times as high as the next drug. Now, you got to remember, there's other drugs out there, right? This is hardly the worst one. I mean, they're lowballing figures on it, obviously. When you have something like this, it does behoove investigators to study it more fully and ascertain if, in fact, this signal is accurate, said Dr. Peter Selby, Chief of Addictions in Toronto's Centre of Addiction for Mental Health. I wonder how long he went to school to figure that out. Pfizer Canada, the drugs manufacturer, and Health Canada says its benefits outweigh the risk and that side effect reports show only a suspected comment between a drug and an adverse reaction, but no proof one caused the other. Sylvie says Champex is an effective medication, especially for smokers who have tried unsuccessfully to quit through other means to overcome something that's killing them. Well, you know what? I've known a few people, actually, in my little sphere of influence here that tried this drug to quit smoking, and they quit right away because they said that they had crazy, crazy, crazy dreams, and guess what? Suicidal thoughts. Now, they were able to quit right away and walk away because they didn't like where it took them. But how many people weren't? This is the question. So they know. They know. Health Canada, the people that tell us here in the Great White North that they're on the ball and looking out for our best interests, they let these drugs slip by, but they put extra close scrutiny on vitamins, minerals, amino fatty acid, herbs, and actually, I take back what I just said. They don't put extra close scrutiny on it because it's actually working. Well, maybe they did, and that's why. Maybe that's why. Listen to this. Health Canada acknowledges that side effects are underreported. Reporting for doctors, nurses, and pharmacists is voluntary. Several medical experts told the Star the federal government should make it mandatory for doctors to report serious side effects. Star investigation found Champex has the largest number of reported violent reaction cases of all drugs. And that's just in Canada, and we got a pretty small population compared to our neighbors in the South. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Back after this. Don't take Champex. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. And before I go to calls, it's Friday, and I want to play something fun for you. We were talking about some serious side effects of drugs, and it almost becomes a joke after a while. And, but the fact is when people are under-nutrified, and then you throw a crazy serotonin reuptake inhibitor into the mix, serious consequences can happen, but let's look at the lighter side of it, and then we're going to go to calls. Roll the clip.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Man, it is so cool to be back together with these guys doing this, I swear. Because this is a group where I know I fit in, Because the way the world is now, you can be part of a group and not even know you're a part of a group until you read about it or see it on TV. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. My wife and I, we love watching like Dateline, 2020, those shows. But you know how every week they will feature a disease. And I swear to you, every week, no matter what the disease is, my wife has it. There'll be 3 people on the planet that have this disease. My wife is one of them. She just watches it going, I've got it. I have every one of those symptoms. I'm like, you do not have testicular cancer. You don't even have testiculars. But they made us such a bunch of paranoid nuts, because when I was growing up, there were 2 medicines in the world. You had aspirin and camphophenique. That's all there was. Now there's so many medicines. They got this prescription stuff that they advertise on TV, and I swear half the time the side effects are 50 times worse than what the medicine cures. Like try new Floraflor for itchy, watery eyes. It's Floraflor. Side effects may include nausea, vomiting, water weight gain, lower back pain, receding hairline, eczema, seborrheic psoriasis, itching, chafing clothing, liver spots, blood clots, ringworm, excessive body odor, uneven tire wear, pyorrhea, gonorrhea, diarrhea, halitosis, scoliosis, loss of bladder control, hammer toe, the shanks, low sperm count, warped floors, cluttered drawers, hunchback, heart attack, low resale value on your home, feline leukemia, athlete's foot, head lice, club foot, MS, MD, VD, fleas, anxiety, sleeplessness, drowsiness, poor gas mileage, tooth decay, parvo, warts, unibrow, lazy eye, fruit flies, chest pains, clogged veins, hemorrhoids, dry heaving, and sexual dysfunction. there going, you know what? I'll just have itchy, watery eyes.
And you know what? You don't even have to have itchy, watery eyes either. Let's go over to take some calls now. We got Sue in Kansas, Vanessa, Cindy in Saskatchewan, Nada in Idaho. I see you there. Hang on, and we want to talk to every single one of you. Let's start out with Sue in Kansas. How you doing, Sue?
Hi, Michael Phillips. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's a rare nice day up here in Alberta.
It's not bad down here in Kansas.
Good to hear. What's on your mind today?
Well, you know what? I was going to ask you other questions, but I do want to know about, I called and talked to you last week, and you told me to get some liquid glucogel. And after I got off the phone, because of my digestion and gas and bloat, I think I had it before I started doing the glucogel capsules. I went ahead and ordered some liquid glucogel, though. And I don't know if I'm AB negative blood type. And I don't know, I just heard Dr. Wallach tell somebody with thyroid problems, which I've never been on any kind of medication, but my dad had thyroid, my sister's on Synthroid, but I don't do any of that stuff. But he said don't eat fresh fruits and juices and stuff, and I like fruit more than vegetables. So
Okay,
I don't know if that has anything to do with my digestion.
Well, you know what? What exactly are you taking again? Refresh my memory.
I'm doing Healthy Start Pack 2.0. I'm doing 15 glucogel a day, 6 selenium a day, 2-3 times a day. Now, I don't always take these vitamins with meals. Is that okay?
You know what? That's fine. It's actually better on an empty stomach. I hear the music. We got a commercial coming up. Okay. We're going to jump back over to you after this, Sue. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Glidden back after this. Never has a truer song been written. I don't want to work. I want to play the drums all day. And I do happen to be a drummer. And, yeah, I'd love to get paid to play the drums all day. That'd be great. But actually, I really like doing this as well. I got to say, like I said, I love seeing people get over health issues. And the majority that I come into contact and really make a genuine effort of changing a few things in their life, you know, they might hit a few snags along the way, but if you stick around long enough and make a few minor adjustments on the way, I've seen it happen for them, and it can happen for you. And speaking of which, let's go back over to Sue in Kansas. Now, Sue, you were just telling me everything that you're on, and you were saying that you don't believe that the glucogel is causing the gas issues?
I don't think so. I mean, because I think I had it before I ever started taking the longevity products.
Okay, so...
But I have lost like 30 pounds in 4 months just doing the minerals and going off gluten and depend on
30 pounds in 4 months?
And not even trying. I went from 151 to 121, and
Come on, Sue. Come on. You were out running marathons. Don't put me on.
No, I am not. I do like to work. I do a lot of yard work, but I don't do pumping. I don't run. I don't walk. No.
Well, that's how it happens. I've seen the same thing in people around me, so it's just a gas issue. Are you taking any kind of digestive products?
Well, you know what I'm taking, because I am not hungry a lot of the time. I make myself eat 2 eggs every morning, but before I do that, I take a couple enzymes. Yeah. And some other things, but, like maybe 15 or 20 minutes before I eat breakfast. And then, I think one of my things is I'm a late night person. Mm-hmm. I'm an early morning person and a late night person, and I will stay outside doing yard work till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night until I can't see anymore. And I'll come in and I'll take a few bites of like almond butter, and then I'll read for a little bit, and then I'll go to bed. And I'm thinking I'm probably just fermenting the whole time I'm sleeping.
All right. Well, you know what? Just try dropping a couple of things from your regular diet and make just a few minor adjustments and see what happens.
I don't eat anything, Michael Phillips. All I eat, okay, I'll tell you, I eat.
You said you're eating almond butter. Try getting rid of that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, you're asking for the moon.
The moon is eating that's pretty important to you.
Yes. Well, what about, I do like farmer's cheese and sliced almonds. I like those together. I've given up crackers and chips. I don't do anything because it's got all those oils in them.
Hey, have you ever tried taking your OsteoFX before you go to bed?
Now, I do the powder. That's the calcium?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do have one bottle of OsteoFX liquid because I hear Dr. Glidden all the time saying he likes that better than the powder.
Well, so do I, and so does everybody I know. So you know what? Here's what I'd like you to try.
Why is that? Why? It doesn't have as much anything in it, though, does it? When you look at the label?
It's way better. It's way better. Take my word for it. The liquid's way better. Here, tell you what. I want you to pour an ounce of the liquid with some orange juice right before you go to bed. Okay? 1 ounce of liquid OsteoFX right before you go to bed and see if things change. Okay? So it says here that you want to know about arthritis and lupus as well.
But you know what? That was for somebody else.
Okay, well, let's get into it.
You answered my question. I want to know what it is that eats the rheumatoid arthritis bacteria.
Okay, well, that's easy. That's the killer biotic.
What is in it? I mean, what is the critter that?
It's actually a toxin that goes around and kills little nasty microplasms in between the joints that are feeding on things that should not be there in the first place. And once you get on the healthy bone and joint pack, you want to get rid of those microbes and you want to get everything moving and fix the connective tissue as I understand it. Now, I'm not a naturopath, but I will say this. I've seen success with it many times over. Rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis. The only difference as far as I'm concerned is the killer biotic. So, get this person on the killer biotic about 6 a day, maybe 3 a day. How much do they weigh? How big are they?
This gentleman is probably, 5'10", and probably weighs 135, 40 pounds. He's small.
Yeah, try about 3 of them a day with about 2 ounces of the liquid glucogel, right, with 1 healthy start pack. And get him on the liquid OsteoFX.
Okay.
So he's going to need 1 healthy start pack, 2 bottles of liquid glucogel, and a bottle of killer biotic.
Okay. And liquid OsteoFX.
Yeah, use that.
Okay, now what if I can't talk him into doing this diet?
Well, you know what? If you can't, here's the deal. A lot of people will come out swinging with no gluten or some of these other things. And I've actually found that sometimes that can be counterproductive, right? Like if I had another guy that was talking to me. He was trying to help out a girl he knows, and he was in a tizzy because she had margarine in her fridge. And I said, look, she's got a long road ahead of her. Forget about the margarine, right? Okay. Try and get her to take little steps at a time because you don't want to make the person feel too badgered. And so, if this person that you're talking about, maybe don't try so hard to convince them of the diet up front. You can mention it, but if they can still get some nutrients into them and start feeling better, then they're going to be more prone to listen to you about the diet. Does that make sense, Sue?
Yes, it does.
That's what I would do. Okay. People are all different. You kind of got to, when you're talking to somebody, you have to feel out the situation and try to know best as you can who you're dealing with. Like if they're a person that has a positive attitude toward, what's so-called alternative health, for years and years, they're going to be more apt to listen, right? But if it's somebody that thinks it's quackery, but they're at the end of their rope and willing to try anything, at least if you can get some tangy tangerine into him, get him to try it. And if he does and starts feeling better, then he's going to have a more positive attitude. He's going to come back to you and, I feel better energy. I'm still hurting, but, so if you can even just get them feeling a little bit better, then they're going to be more prone to listen to you.
Should he do the 2.0 Healthy Start Pack?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, because there's so much more in that.
There's a Healthy Start Pack now with the liquid OsteoFX and the new Tangy. Just look for it in your back office. It's brand new.
Okay, and what about how much liquid OsteoFX?
An ounce a day of that and 2 scoops Tangy Tangerine because there's only 32 ounces in a bottle of OsteoFX, right? So, if he's going to take it for a whole month. Yeah, he'll probably get quicker results with 2, but you know, if you want to get them, you get them started out on one, and if you can get them 2 bottles of the liquid glucogel in them, and press upon him that it's a combination that needs to be there with everything.
Okay.
So, yeah, but if he'll only try to tang you or whatever, go with that, because if he starts feeling better, like I said, he's going to come back to you and, you know, want to hear more.
Yeah. Now, listen, about your meetings.
Yeah.
I don't own a computer. We do not have a computer. So I went to a friend's house, and she pulled up on her laptop some of those DVDs that you talked about. Is there any way of viewing those before you spend $160 on 6 DVDs?
Well,
because I'll tell you what, I have a little bit of trouble. Actually, I have a lot of trouble with the evolution stuff, and I don't want to have to be unexplaining things to people if I'm going to have these meetings.
With evolution?
Yes.
Okay, well, forget about that and concentrate on the health effects, because Dr. Glidden's religious views are his and his alone, and whether you're an atheist or you believe in God or whatever the case might be, this works, bottom line. So like I said, you know, talk to whoever you're with, and you know, I mean, if my child was dying of cancer and a Buddhist came to me and had some good advice, I wouldn't give a flying flip about his religious views. I'd want my kid fixed.
Right, but I'm just saying, a lot of the books, I bought all the books, and there's a lot of pages that's all about, you know.
Well, that's Dr. Glidden, and you know what? That's his personal development to make him into the super awesome guy that he is today. So, you know, I mean, if somebody's going to reject the information because they disagree with one personality trait of another person, listen, I tell you what, if I meet somebody that I agree with too much on, alarm bells go off for me. You know what I mean? So it's all, the point of it is, and really honestly, it's going to be about how you present it. I mean, you've got to whet somebody's appetite for a better life. We're looking to get them out of bone and joint pain, not change their religion. Dr. Glidden's got all kinds of opinions that are his, right? We just want the results. So, you know, if they're going to make that a sticking point, well then fine. Be mad that Dr. Glidden believes in God and just go and suffer. And really, it's that simple. You know, I'll talk to somebody for so long, and I won't waste my time past that, because for every one of them that has some little stumbling block that they can't get over to get their health back, there's a million more out there that are going to listen. And I've only got so much time in this life, and there's a lot of people to help. And so, you know, that's how I look at it, Sue. Right. But as far as looking at the, if you want a good idea of what's on those webinars, go to your friend's house with the computer and go on YouTube and put in Dr. Glidden Against the Grain. Okay, it's about gluten, and I believe it's the first one that he ever did, and they're way more professional now. So you'll get an idea. And he does it. You can see him in the corner, and there's a PowerPoint presentation. And the beauty of it is that he's an actual doctor, and he can explain the situations to somebody better than you or me. So all I do is gather up people that want to fix their health and say, look, this guy knows how to do it. And the ones that listen get their health back. The ones that don't, they go home and they stay in pain. And so, you know, it's a really good tool. So go back to your friend's house, turn on YouTube, and watch Against the Grain with Dr. Peter Glidden. If you want a good example of what's in those webinars, that's a good one, and it's free and available on YouTube.
Okay. All right.
Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Sue, I got other customers on the line. I got to let you go. Thanks for calling. It's always good to hear from Sue. We're going to go over to Vanessa, Cindy, Nada, and Harry. Hang on. I'll spend just as much time with you as I did with Sue. Sound good? Let's go to Vanessa. How are you today, Vanessa? Hello, Vanessa.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. I was about to give you the 1, 2, 3, but you came on strong. How you doing, Vanessa?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right. So what's on your mind today?
Okay, my question is, what is the treatment for uterus fibroids?
Okay, so I've seen that in my own family, and as far as I understand, you want to get that person the Mighty 90, of course, in a high ORAC value. And how you can do that, there's a couple different ways. The Healthy Brain and Heart Pack would probably be the best way to go, and you do one based on every 100 pounds body weight for this woman that you're talking about. If it's not you, it doesn't matter. It's the same for everybody. And then what you want to do is get a high ORAC value into that person. And I'm going to get into that after this break, Vanessa. I hear the music, and that means I'll be back after this. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Now, before the break, we were talking to Vanessa, and we're going to go right back to her. Now, I was just discussing the best way to get a high ORAC value, and the best way, as far as I'm concerned, is the triple treat chocolate. It's got a high ORAC value, so this person can take at least 1 or 2 pieces a day, and then with that Healthy Brain and Heart pack, you've got the selenium and the Cell Shield RTQ. Selenium is absolutely essential in a whole lot of areas. Now, you know, the Cell Shield RTQ, that stands for resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin, and that's going to go a long way, in my opinion. And it's not magic. It's not. This is actual science. You know that Dr. Oz is actually up before Congress because he said he had a magic bean that caused weight loss? Are you there, Vanessa?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I kind of got sidetracked. Sorry about that. So you've been writing this down?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What did you say after selenium?
Cell Shield RTQ, that comes in the Healthy Brain and Heart pack. So you don't even have to worry about those things, right? You just got to get that pack and get them in this individual and cross your fingers and see what happens. Now, like I said, we had various people or women in my family with the same problem, and that is absolutely a thing of the past. None of the 3 women in my family that had the exact same problem have had any kind of issues with that in the last 3 years. It just doesn't come up. When before, you know, there was surgeries, there was all kinds of stuff, right? So, you know, and I've seen it work, and I hope that you do too. Vanessa, where are you from? It doesn't even have your location on here.
Covina, California.
Covina, California.
Yes, one more question. I've also heard that people are using PDM, the plant mineral derived, to use as a douche. Is that correct?
I haven't heard of it specifically, but you know what? That's a pretty absorbable area of your body, and it couldn't hurt. Like for infections and candida and things like that, women are using the colloidal silver, and that seems to have a big impact as well as an antibacterial. I'll tell you what, colloidal silver is absolutely amazing. If you've never used it, Longevity has a colloidal silver. I believe it's about 5 parts per million. Don't quote me on that. It might be about 15. But what I do is I go to a veterinarian, and they carry it for animals, right? And you can get it at 100 parts per million from a veterinarian. Now, that's, you know, in Canada, it's probably different in Covina. Probably a lot of things different in Covina than central Alberta. But you know, my son, Elias, he got up the other day and he looked just terrible. And I said, "What's wrong?" He said, I think I got the flu. And I said, "No problem, just drink this." And I gave him a shot glass full of colloidal silver. And he went back downstairs and he came up in about 15 minutes smiling ear to ear. And he said, "Dad, my flu is gone." And you know, sometimes you'll get drastic results. So, you know, as far as that goes, if you're looking to knock out an infection or something, colloidal silver is the way to go. Now, there is some silver in the plant-derived minerals. So, you know, a person could use both. But, you know, you could just swallow the plant-derived minerals, too.
Yeah, I know. I heard if you douche with the PDM, it's good for treatment of the fibroids.
That's very possible, Vanessa. It can't hurt to try.
Okay.
All right, is that all you got?
Yes.
All right, Vanessa, I hope I was helpful. We're going to let you go, and we've got just a few minutes before the end of this segment. We're going to go over to Cindy in Saskatchewan. Cindy, in my home country of Canada, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Right on. You know what? I just caught you, and I hear the music. That means we got a hard break, and you waited so long. And I'd like you to stick around, Cindy, because we're going to come right back to you Listen to the news. Mike Phillips filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after this.